Oh, welcome to the Manville Entertainment Premises, the podcast wing. And we would like to welcome you to Let's Talk, a I've screwed it up again. That's the second day in a row. A show here on the channel. Okay. So, blink and you missed it. This was actually and by the way, happy Wednesday. Didn't expect to be here. Didn't think you'd see me here now, did ya? Did ya? Well, it's Taco Wednesday, and we're here to talk about something that if you blink and you missed it. Now, my friend Liam, who is big into the political sciences, this is something that's been on his radar since this past weekend. However, if you're just a sports schmo like me, again, if you blinked and you missed it, this was an article that was on the very bottom. It was the last article in the top headlines this morning, and it has since disappeared. Someone's burying the story. Now you're asking Brett Favre, well, this can't be. Is this an NFL video? Hold your horses. This hold your horses. I'm here because I want to talk about a story that seems to be getting buried a little bit here. Now, this was written by the Associated Press. ESPN wouldn't dare stick someone on this story because they're too deeply embedded with the NFL. But it's such ridiculous news that you can't just not report it. So they reported it. They stuck it on, again, the bottom top headline for what I couldn't tell you. Blink and you miss. It's gone, folks. So I've since calmed back and scooped up this story for you guys. Oh, God. We're gonna do a college football video here soon, guys, because we were talking about quarterbacks yesterday, and then Colt Brennan died. So we're definitely gonna cover that on this channel. Colt Brennan Colt Brennan put Hawaii football on the map, and dare I say, Colt Brennan's the GOAT. And the thing is, when you look at Colt Brennan's numbers, when Hawaii made it to the Sugar Bowl and got their doors blown off by Georgia, and everyone thought, well, that's what happens. But no, shut the hell up. If they had played the year before, Colt Brennan was unstoppable his junior season. So just, we're cheering for Markelle Fultz. We get all that. It's sad, and I'm really sorry to hear that is a story that'll actually I'll freaking write down right now. Colt Brennan, like that, you can just almost book it for that's tomorrow's show. But today, getting back on point here, from Jackson, Mississippi. Now I'm wearing a little bit of Mississippi State color, or not Southern Miss colors, Mississippi State, Southern Miss colors, because that's where Brett Favre went to school. But listen to how he treats his home state. Okay, Brett Favre yet to make $600,000 repayment to Mississippi despite promise, says the state. The state, and if you know anything. Now, I watched a series of videos. You guys should go watch these. There's a series of videos about the Ole Miss program. I believe it was done by SB Nation. I don't know. It could be secret base at this point now, but there was this awesome. It's like a mini series. It's like 4 parts, and it just dives deep into really college athletics at whole, but specifically college football, and more specifically Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Southern Miss is just off doing its own thing. But the rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and just what that breeds, and what really it just Mississippi. This thing is so good. It basically explains how here's these 2 football programs spending millions of dollars in providing these ridiculously expensive products, and they're spending all this money. It's the poorest state in the union. Okay, make no mistake about it. When you think of dirt poor, and that's what I love. That's what I love. When you start thinking about some of the worst things about our country, and how it's inherently racist, and how it's clearly there's systemic racism that occurs in America. and how we think to ourselves, "Oh, dirty, poor Mexicans." No. Leave the Mexicans out of this. You can dirty, poor Mississippians or whatever they are. That's who that's what should come to mind. We've let an entire state get to the point where this state has its hands open saying, Brett Favre, please give us our $600,000 back. That's how freaking poor this state is. And like I said, there's just this awesome series of videos about Ole Miss and Mississippi State and how they're playing tug of war over players and money, and there's bagmen, and it's like all this money being thrown around in the state of Mississippi, and how backwards that is. But retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre has yet to pay back $600,000 he received from the state of Mississippi for multiple speaking events where he never showed up. Favre promised to repay the state after an audit released in May 2020 revealed $1.1 million had been paid to his company, Favre Enterprises. The amount was part of a $94 million in welfare spending that was questioned by auditors who said they either saw clear misspending or could not verify whether money was lawfully spent. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the United States. I apologize. Sorry. And the $94 million was earmarked for the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. Brett Favre, Brett Favre, be serious. I mean, be serious. I'm not even going to get into all the ridiculous political stuff that Brett Favre is into. Just be serious, Brett Favre. The Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, and again, like the inherently racist stuff I was referring to earlier, how, the starving kids, there's starving kids in Africa. Aren't you going to clear your plate? Starving kids in Africa. There's starving kids in Mississippi, and freaking Brett Favre has $600,000 of their money. Mississippi Community Education Center had contracts with the Mississippi Department of Human Services to spend money through TANF, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. The report said auditors found payments for sports activities and other events with no clear connection to helping needy people. Brett Favre, are you serious? Brett Favre can't be serious, you guys. I don't even know if I can read anymore. He can't be serious. Favre, who lives in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, he still lives there, made an initial payment of $500,000 to the state a few days after the report was released. Okay, so $1.1 million, here's $500,000. Okay, Brett Favre, where's the other $600,000? Starving kids in Mississippi. I really hope. I love wrestling so much. I'm so bad. I just try my hand at so many things. I love it so much, and I don't give it any sort of thought. If I was going to be a heel, if I was going to be a wrestling heel, I would go down to the South and I would just cut promos about the starving kids in Mississippi and the poor kids in Mississippi, and it would kill. It would kill. I'm telling you. After the initial media dust up, he stroked a check for $500,000 and gave a voluntary commitment to repay the rest in the coming months. And then that didn't happen. Favre's agent did not return a request from the AP for comment Tuesday. This story is so bad. Favre has not been accused of a crime. Really? I'm accusing him of a crime. There's starving kids in Mississippi. I'm like, oh, whoa. Ex-wrestler Brett DiBiase. Wait a minute. Hold on. Brett DiBiase. That is a misprint. That is a straight up ex-wrestler Brett DiBiase. What? Several people, including the former head of state's welfare agency, top officials at the Mississippi, and ex-wrestler Brett DiBiase were indicted in state court. Now, did Ted DiBiase, because I think I remember that being a thing. That was part of the story. Ted DiBiase, what's the matter with you, dude? No, this can't be. This can't be him. He's been on NXT. 14 hours ago, he outbid Cameron Grimes for a house on NXT. Feds try to seize home of Ted DiBiase Jr. That's right. So it's actually Ted DiBiase Jr., who was also in the WWE, that I believe isn't mixed up in all this. However, I love too how I pointed this back to wrestling. Like I made a point about wrestling, and then literally a paragraph later, because you can't escape wrestling, especially as a wrestling fan, you don't escape it. So not only are they just missing the Junior and Ted DiBiase Jr., but then they call this guy Brett DiBiase. Ay, ay, ay. White said last year there was no indication Favre knew the money he was receiving was meant for helping needy residents. Okay, that was last year. What about now? What about now that he knows? What about now that he knows that this money was earmarked for needy children? Is Brett Favre? I didn't think I was gonna have to do it. What? How much money did Brett Favre make in his career? I mean, and he lives in Mississippi. I can't imagine like the living expenses are like. Oh, he lives in that ostentatious neighborhood in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Like, dude, come on. Career earnings. Brett Favre is 51 years old. Brett Favre could still go. Make no mistake, Brett Favre could still go. Brett Favre made in 20 NFL seasons $137 million, and he's raping Mississippi over the coals for $600,000. I'm in a state of shock. I honestly did not. I just cracked open the story. That I wish I had just gotten right to it. That is unfreaking believable, you guys. I'm just gonna leave it at that. What else can be said? I mean, first off, Brett Favre, but then you wrangle in Brett DiBiase into all this. My gosh. So writing it down, Colt Brennan for tomorrow. All right. Colt Brennan. I mean, you guys, who didn't start an NCAA football dynasty with Hawaii when Colt Brennan was there? I mean, yeah, Timmy Chang had all these crazy career numbers, but the game was barely even popular yet, and it was really hitting its peak. And then, then it was out on the 360, and obviously the best version of NCAA football came on the Xbox, the original Xbox, GameCube, and PlayStation life cycle. So you're talking about NCAA football's 2003, NCAA football 2004, NCAA football 2005, NCAA football 2006. Those are like the best ever. But yeah, Colt Brennan on Hawaii was just so awesome. So I'll definitely be reading from that news article tomorrow, because it's really where I thought there's so many lessons I've learned from the Matt Bush video, and I guess it remains to be seen what ultimately we get from that story. But I think there's already a narrative. There's already a perfectly fine forming narrative to be had from Colt Brennan's story, and it's one of tragedy. And traumatic brain injuries are just a terrible thing. And this guy had his whole career and his whole life out in front of him, and yeah, just because it didn't work out as an NFL player, like, you're still Colt Brennan. You're still like a hero. This guy could go anywhere in Hawaii and everyone was going to know who he was. But it seems like substance abuse issues, then a traumatic brain injury, which either led to further or like just exasperated his substance abuse issues. And I would like to know, when we do the video tomorrow, I'll do a lot more digging into what the actual cause of his death was, but it sounds not good. We can just say that it doesn't sound like it was I don't want to say foul play, but it just doesn't sound like the way that Colt Brennan, it wasn't a natural death. We can say that. But I have 4 stories to write today. So, yeah, I cannot believe I even spent this much time on with you guys today. But my friend Liam had said something about the Brett Favre thing over the weekend, and I actually remember now looking into it, and it being Ted DiBiase Jr. But Brett DiBiase's in a world of hurt, let alone Brett Favre. So I will definitely be back tomorrow. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever, whatever. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Catch you on the next one.